All right, good morning, everyone. Hopefully those online can hear me as well. We're gonna get started. So thanks to everyone who showed up this morning bright and early after the baseball game. Hope that was really fun. I've got a couple of announcements, and then we're gonna get into our agency updates for the morning. So the first announcement is about the music that you all have been hearing when you've entered the room or during the breaks. Sometimes it sounds like just the speakers are malfunctioning, but that's actually ambient sounds that are put together based on space sounds by Nigel Meredith and other artists that he collaborates with called Sounds of Space. They have a band camp, so check them out if you're interested. It's actually really nice music to work to if you like to get in the zone in your headphones. And that'll be happening throughout the week. Today we've got another great day of programming, lots of breakout sessions, super exciting stuff. The unique thing on our schedule tonight is the community organized queer beers. So just as a reminder, we will be meeting at the registration desk around 6:30, so after the posters are wrapping up. And then we're gonna walk to the garden, which is just less than a mile across the river to a very nice spot where we're all gonna hang out and celebrate for a while. And I wanted to make a note about the program this morning. So we've got our lineup of speakers that are gonna be from our agencies to give updates on what's happening in the state of their various respective institutions. But some of you may have noticed that NASA is not on that program. So NASA is unable to represent at this meeting. They were not able to attend either in person or virtually, and they were also not able to give us a statement of any kind. So we are not going to be hearing from the NASA agency this morning. However, they did say they would have a town hall scheduled soon, TBD, but in emails with them, they indicated that there would be some update coming from them to the wider community through the form of a town hall. So we can look forward to that at a later date. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our first agency speakers, the ones who make this whole thing possible. Please welcome our NSF reps. We've got Shika Rezada and Vanya Jordanova online. Please go ahead.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here and giving this update. So on behalf of NSF, I would like to express my deep gratitude to all the steering committee members as well as CPAS who have done an extraordinary job in organizing this workshop. I really appreciate personally, and I have seen how hard they have worked for making this event. NSF has funded CEDAR and GEM for more than 2 decades, and I found out that the first workshop was held sometimes in 1986. So it's almost like close to 40 years of CEDAR workshop. So we want to preserve this tradition as much as we can, even in these hard times. We are trying our best to continue support geospace science. We really appreciate the hard work you guys put and write excellent proposals. So please send us your science highlights so that we can advocate for your programs internally within NSF. So as you know, aeronomy program is currently managed by me along with Tai Yuan, while MAC program is managed by Vanya as well as Charlie Huang. So today I will be presenting aeronomy updates while Vanya will be giving MAG updates. So as you know, this slide was already shared by Dr. Anna Johansson on Monday, and she talked about reorganization of AGS that occurred last year. So Geospace cluster, atmospheric cluster, and infrastructure cluster, they are the umbrella programs that host various research areas. So aeronomy, magnetospheric physics, SPR, and space weather are embedded within Geospace cluster, and one of the reasons, as she mentioned, was to promote collaborations within NSF as well as like make it easier for outside community to submit proposal directly to Geospace cluster. So each cluster is led by a coordinator, and for Geospace cluster we have Mangla Sharma. So all the proposals, when they are submitted to Geospace cluster, they come to her and then she distributes it among the existing program officers in the cluster based on the research topic of the proposal. So Geospace facility, which is an infrastructure cluster, was managed by Roman, who left recently. So all the facility programs are now currently being distributed to the program officers in Geospace cluster. Yeah, let me go back. So Geospace cluster accepts like unsolicited proposals throughout the year, and you can find the details about each program if you visit the website and read the program description. This identifier is also indicated here, which can give you more details when you search. So in addition to unsolicited proposal, Geospace cluster provides additional funding opportunities that appear in the form of solicitations. So most of you are familiar with CEDAR, GEM, and SHINE solicitation. So for those who are early careers or postdocs and are interested in submitting research proposals to these programs, I encourage that they read the description and contact the program officers that are mentioned in the solicitation webpage. So the important thing to note is GEM will be accepting proposals. The target date is September 30th, which is approaching soon, and then followed by SHINE. And CEDAR has a target date of March 4th, 2026. So now I will give a brief overview of the aeronomy programs, how many awards we usually make, and so this is kind of statistical information for about last 10 years. So we can see that proposals that were submitted to CEDAR solicitation, they are about 39% of the entire aeronomy portfolio. So earlier aeronomy was like an individual program, but now it is part of Geospace cluster, but there are no separate pots of money for these proposals that are listed here. So everything is coming from aeronomy. And so we have contributed about $37 million to CEDAR awards, and about $10.5 million have gone to career awardees, while others are like $47 million, which is about 50% of the entire portfolio. So what is this others? So others actually represent all the proposals that have been submitted to the core program or core research area now that sits in Geospace cluster, as well as travel grants and workshop proposals. So this brings me to the funding of conferences and workshop proposals. So many people have asked like what are the expenses for workshops. So here is a summary. So far we have spent about $2.7 million for organizing CEDAR workshop. So far means like in last 10 years. And others are about less than $1 million, which are Steve workshop, Steve and Hamsai, as well as other individual case-by-case requests that are like travel grants to attain like AGU Chapman conference or CCMC workshop, etc. So recently we have witnessed very spectacular event, which is like solar eclipse, total solar eclipse that occurred on 8th April 2024. And this generated great interest in the community and was an excellent opportunity to do outreach work. So our community has done fabulous work in doing several investigations and tried to study how the diminishing solar radiation impacts various regions of the Earth's atmosphere. So NSF Aeronomy supported these kind of investigation. In 2024, you can see NSF Aeronomy have contributed more than $1 million. And from 2016 to 2024, Aeronomy has contributed roughly $2.7 million for such studies. These included the workshop that was organized by Yu Deng from UTA, and she did a marvelous job in outreach, and she reached out to several high school students. So thanks you for your outreach work, and Hamsa community also did excellent job. In addition to this, NSF Aeronomy as well as STR program directors, they jointly organized a session at AGU meeting, and we invited several speakers from aeronomy community. Some of the invited speakers who gave excellent presentations were Phil Erickson, Josh Sameter, Nikolai Sabotin, and Nathaniel Frizel. So thank you so much for your excellent presentation and contribution. And there, in addition to talks, there were poster presentation, and I personally thank to all the people who contributed to poster presentations for this session. So in addition to these targeted proposals and events, our community has benefited from NSF-wide funding opportunities. One of them is Major Research Instrumentation Program, MRI program, which many of you are familiar, and some of them are not probably familiar, so please go and check the website. So it provides opportunity to develop and acquire new instrumentation. This program will be accepting, there is a submission window, and if you are interested, so the deadline is between October 15 and November 14. So the recent MRI awardees are Dr. Mark Conde from University of Alaska, Fairbanks, Dr. John Merriweather from NJIT, Dr. Fabiano Rodriguez from University of Texas at Dallas, and Dr. Rajendra Kumar Vishnu, who is a new PI from University of Alaska, Fairbanks. So in last 10 years, Aeronomy has contributed more than $9 million in support of MRI proposals, and this is about 22% of the AGS awards, MRI awards. So as you can see, lower atmospheric community is more aggressively, writing proposals for new instruments and have been successful, but our community is catching up. So great work, and I hope we continue on this path. So the other NSF-wide program is Career Program, which is Faculty Early Career Development Program. And this gives unique opportunity to young early career faculty members to build lifetime leadership skills and help them to integrate research and educational activities. So NSF has awarded more than $25 million, especially Geospace, in form of career awards. And in 2024, Geospace contributed to about $1.5 million. And in last 5 years, Geospace has obligated more than $8.8 million. Recent MAG awardees are Dr. Victoria Wilder from UTA and Dr. Lauren Blum from CU LASP. And for aeronomy, the awardees are Dr. Stephen Kapler from Clemson University and Dr. Roger Varney from UCLA. So congratulations to all of you. And then there is another funding opportunity that resides within Geospace cluster, which is the faculty development in Geospace Sciences, also known as FDSS. So it allows US institutions to create new tenure track faculty positions. And the idea is to promote and integrate geospace-related research topics into the existing programs within those institutions. So it provides not only salary benefits, but it also offers training opportunities to new hires. And people can request up to $1.5 million for 5 years, like the total of $1.5 million distributed over 5 years, not each year. So total funds that have been awarded are more than $8 million over 5 years period to help with the development of FDSS faculties in the US. So in 2024, several institutions were awarded FDSS awards, and the recipients are Clemson University, Georgia Tech, University of Delaware, Bates College, University of Massachusetts, Lowell, and UTA. So the new hires are in progress, and so we cannot declare the names because we are not sure if it is already public information. But if you think you are one of the FDSS hires, please raise your hand if you wish to share the information. And congratulations to all. I cannot see the big screen, so I will proceed. So 2025 FTSS proposals are still being reviewed. So we will be giving the information in next few months. So please stay tuned. So Tyne has been very actively involved in promoting open science, open data activities, and she has led the data infrastructure work within AGS. So she was involved in several agency town halls, and she organized these town halls at TESS and AGU meetings along with other agencies. And to support these activities, NSF has funded several workshops and supported summer schools, for example, Python in heliophysics, and as well as Geoscience Data Commons. In addition to that, there are several solicitations that are cyber infrastructure related, as well as promote open science, open data policies. For example, FAIR-OS and GeoOSC. There are two examples, and CAGE is something that promotes collaboration between artificial intelligence and geosciences. My colleague Vanya is going to give more details later in her talk. And there are several projects that have been funded by Aeronomy to promote data infrastructure activities. Some of them are Swarm over Poker 2023 that is led by Christina Lynch, Donald Hampton, and Leslie Lamarche. Then there is a rapid proposal for processing DMSP data, which is led by Mark Hairston. And there is another collaborative effort, which is led by Asti Bhatt, Jonathan Makela, and Brian Harding, which aims at developing an observational network to enable investigations of gravity waves. So now I will give Vanya and invite her to proceed with JAM updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Shika. So let's see. Let's proceed with some statistics about the magnetosphere program. So again, we made similar as for the aeronomy program, look at the awards during the last 10 years. And on the left-hand side of the plot, you see that most of the awards, about 48% in the amount of 37 million, were awarded to the GEM solicitation. About 40% were awarded to the base magnetosphere program, and which included few rapid and eager awards, and about 9 million to career awards. So the magnetosphere program also supports various workshops, and the main support goes to our GEM workshop, which is the flagship of the magnetosphere program. But we also provide some support for the space weather workshop and some other student training workshops. So very important for the magnetosphere program are the ground magnetometer arrays, and these are located throughout the United States. And here are listed the active awards for the MAX, SMART, MAXSTAR, conjugate magnetometers in Antarctica, and MICA arrays. And during the last 10 years, the funds were more than 7 million. So again, with this magnetometer arrays, you may investigate various science questions from mid-latitudes to high latitudes, for example, questions related to plasmasphere science, or at higher latitudes to cusp dynamics and so forth. So we are committed to continue supporting these arrays. In addition, NSF supports many geospace facilities. There are 4 incoherent scatter radar and 1 the super darn coherent scatter radar. They are shown here. Also it supports various solar arrays, neutron monitors, Ampere and SuperMag, and Community Coordinated Modeling Center. So as I mentioned, NSF is committed to continue supporting the geospace facilities, which are again very important both for the aeronomy and the magnetosphere program. So here are some recent updates. A 5-year renewal grant was awarded to MIT to operate the Millstone Hill Geospace facility, and another 5-year renewal grant was awarded to NJIT to operate 2 solar radio arrays at the Owens Valley Radio Observatory. However, we would like to mention that the budget situation is currently and probably will be challenging in the near future. So in addition, there are a distributed array of small instruments, or the DAISY solicitation. So here are the 4 awards that were made from the 2024 solicitation. So these include deployment and operation of the ham radio science citizen investigation personal space weather station network, a distributed meteor radar and optical network in South America, a student-led development of advanced yet low-cost multi-constellation triple-frequency ionospheric scintillation and electron content monitor, and a autonomous remote geospace observation and research array. So these solicitations come in 2 tracks, and they could be track 1 as a instrument development and track 2 as more deployment. So the award sizes are between $500,000 to $1.5 million. So we are listing here also some more NSF-wide and geosciences funding opportunities we would like to draw your attention to. So these are opportunities that are not exactly in the AGS cluster. However, we encourage you to look at those. They are about cyber infrastructure or artificial intelligence in geosciences, open sciences. There are also some educational opportunity like graduate research fellowship program, research experience for undergraduates, and so forth. So this solicitation may require your collaboration with engineers or computer scientists, so they are more interdisciplinary. However, these are great opportunities to get involved. And if you are interested, please look more into detail and contact the corresponding program officers. So another another thing I would like to highlight is the updates on NSF priorities. So there are some changes in the NSF broadening participation activities, and now the priorities emphasize that we must aim to create opportunities for all Americans everywhere. So please, when you write your proposal, make sure that you follow this guideline when you propose a broadening participation. And here is a brief look at the FY26 budget request to Congress. So we are listing here the website where you can go and look into great details about various programs and NSF. Several highlights are that, as you see, the budget request here, 3.9 billion for FY26. It's less than half of what was for FY24. We are showing here some numbers also in the table. So, for example, for the Geosciences Directorate, if we compare the current budget and the FY26 request, we see that there are about 45% reduction. For the Office of Polar Program Antarctic, the reduction is smaller. However, if you look at the research, education, and infrastructure, then you see that a change over FY24 is more than 50%. So, in addition to that, the investment at NSF has new priorities. So there are 4 priorities that are now emphasized. 1 is artificial intelligence, 2, quantum computing, 3, advanced biotechnology, and 4, national security. That is why we encourage you to be open-minded and to think more as interdisciplinary and work with colleagues from other groups or departments to create such proposals that align with these new priorities. And a brief look at the funding rate in the past, comparing NSF and GEO, NSF in blue and Geosciences in red. As we see that for Geosciences, the success rate was very good, about 40%. With the new budget in FY25, we expect, however, this funding rate to be reduced probably between 10 and 20%. If you ask yourself, so should I submit a proposal to NSF? Yes, we would like to encourage you to submit a proposal because there are, various reasons. One is that usually it takes more than one try to have a successful proposal, so it's very good to hear the feedback, from the reviewers. That helps you to develop further your ideas. Also, this is a very dynamic situation that is changing, and hopefully the actual budget funding will be better. And also, this is a way to demonstrate the need for the funding, the need for NSF to fund basic science. So, again, you may find updates and frequently asked question answer on this website that we are listing here. Please keep track of that one. As I said, the situation changes often. If you have any questions about the aeronomy program or CEDAR solicitation, please contact Shika or Tayin. And if you have any questions about magnetospheric physics program or GEM solicitation, please contact Jailin or myself. We will be happy to provide the information that is available. In addition, I would like to thank you all for your participation and continue doing good science, continue submitting proposal to NSF, be NSF reviewer when you are asked. We need good reviewers. And also I would like to thank the GEM Steering Committee led by Christine Gabriels and the UNH workshop organizers that have been organizing GEM since 2019. Jing Liao and Chris Muigis and the UNH team. And I wish you a very successful and productive workshop. Yeah. Would you like to?
Yeah, thank you. I echo Vanya in all what she said, and I would also like to thank Lynn Harvey, Mark Conde, Ling Qian, CPAS, PI, Hannah, and Maggie. They have done a lot of work, and let's give them a big applaud. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Shika and Vanya. Please stay on the line as the session continues, as we will solicit questions from the audience at the end.
Oh, yeah.
We will be here.
Okay,
We will
great.
mute ourselves.
Our next agency update is from Irfan Azim at NOAA.
So sound check, can you hear me? And can you see my slide?
We can hear you, but we cannot see your slides yet.
Okay, let me try one more time.
Almost. We can see you, but yes,
So you can see my slide?
yes.
Okay, great. Sorry for that little hiccup. So,
You might go into presenter view.
let's see, I
Okay.
thought I did. How about now? Is that
Yes,
coming through
good.
okay?
Very good, thank you.
All right, so I'm Irfan Azim, Division Chief for Science and Engineering within our Office of Space Weather.
We're having some technical difficulties, so give us a minute. I just wanted to take this moment to remind everyone that we have office hours as well with the agency representatives. We've got some instructions for that came out in the GEM messenger and the CEDAR list, so please go ahead and look at those if you want to meet with one of these representatives. And hopefully we'll get Irfan back on.
Okay, I think that we are going to move to our next agency update until Irfan figures out the technical difficulties. So our next agency update will be Bruce Fritz from the Office of Naval Research.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bruce Fritz, and I am very excited to be here. I'm, very honored to have the privilege to actually be here in person, and I wish the rest of our agency colleagues could be here as well. I represent the Office of Naval Research Marine Meteorology and Space Weather Program, obviously the space weather being much more applicable to the audience today. I am representing my colleagues Dan Eleuterio, Josh Koseth, and Kate Mulroney, who are the full-time program officers. At least Dan and Kate have a Navy background, so they're really tuned in to what the agency really needs. As many of you might know, I came up through the community here. I grew up as a grad student in the GEM community and have spent many years now in the CEDAR community as well. And so I'm helping to be a bit of a bridge liaison to the ONR office and help expose all the amazing work that's being done that I've seen so far this week to the sponsor agency there. Okay, so I've seen this slide from Dan for the past year or two, and I really like it just as a way to build a bridge for those who don't know me or don't know the Office of Naval Research, for any students that might be awake already this morning or GEM community members that haven't seen me recently, we do have a bit of a shared history. Just very briefly, back in the 40s, the federal government wanted a way to continue funding university researchers directly for basic and applied research. And Vannevar Bush there in the bottom right corner was one of the pioneers who really helped push this at the federal level. Initially, as a precursor, I believe, to the National Science Foundation that they tried to pass right after World War II, got caught up in congressional bureaucratic red tape. And as they try to sort that out, actually ONR was the first agency, the first federal agency that was established to issue grants to academic researchers. So we've been around for quite a while now, and as you see there, the National Science Foundation came a few years later. So we do have a bit of a shared history in terms of issuing grants for basic and applied research, and that is still what we do today. Obviously, our missions are a slightly bit different. We're a mission agency. We do have a very driven purpose to support the military, but we are here because we are supporting just basic and applied research. So what do we do? Space weather used to comprise its own separate directorate within the Office of Naval Research, but about 10 years ago that was actually absorbed, so now it is part of the Marine Meteorology program. So Dan heads up both pieces of that, and I've been brought on to be kind of the space weather subject matter expert, I guess you'd say, and liaison to the community here. While we are a mission agency and we have a very kind of focused set of needs and interests, we are not a use case driven sponsor. We are use case inspired, we like to say. So we do have use cases in the back of our mind, but we are looking for the best and brightest ideas that kind of fit within that bucket of interest that we have. So really what it boils down to is we care about HF propagation. So we're really interested in things that impact the bottom side ionosphere, the D region, E region, bottom side F region, how those structures and dynamics evolve over time, and how we can use that to then inform HF propagation for communications and radar systems and the like. So the physics that really falls under that, we're looking at things like sporadic E, spread F, clutter effects, TIDs are a big interest topic, and we approach that from a variety of different approaches. So we are interested in theoretical modeling. We are interested in data assimilation. We are interested in new and novel measurement approaches. So we try to cover the gamut, but because we are a little bit of a smaller budget agency relative to some of our peers, we really try to focus on the most impact, as opposed to like the AFOSR, who you're going to hear from next, has got a little bit broader interest set to cover more of what the Space Force is really interested in. So a couple projects just to kind of highlight some of the things that we have been involved with recently. The big one being the NEMO model. That is the DoD's only operational model right now for forecasting the ionosphere. That is something that's been headed up by Sarah McDonald's group at NRL. Fundamentally, it is SAMI-3 and IDA-4D, both of which are, I'm sure, very well known to people in the community here, but they have done a ton of work in the past 5+ years to transition that to operations, and as of last year, that actually is an operational model. And now, in the wake of the Air Force sunsetting the game model, it is the DoD's only source for an ionospheric forecast. You might also hear us talk about projects like PRISM and Sundial. We have a modest core baseline for funding. We do get occasional plus-ups through short duration specialized projects, one being PRISM. This is the real reason I'm here this week and able to attend, is because this is a 3-year project focused on high latitude ionospheric effects, primarily through the scope of improving the NEMO model. So we are going to be in the 3rd year coming up, and we are planning a coordinated field measurement campaign. So we are looking for new and exciting ways to explore essentially operational class modeling for the ionosphere across the high latitudes, both polar cap and auroral zones. So we'll be having a breakout session on Friday afternoon from 1 to 5 in room 311. That's right next to the sign-in tables there. So we'll be having a few talks from PIs who are funded under this, but I also intend to have some open discussion, so if anyone wants to listen in and find out what we're interested in and what we're doing, it is an open door, so you're welcome to be there. Another one that has just kicked off is called Sundial. That is more focused on low latitude effects. So we're working with partners across the Pacific, actually. We've got partners in Taiwan, we've got partners in Vietnam and the Philippines, among many others. And we're setting up what is going to eventually be another coordinated measurement campaign across that region of the Pacific, focused more on low latitude effects like the equatorial ionization anomaly, a little bit more on scintillation effects and spread F and the like. We also have some interest in gravity wave impacts on the ionosphere, and then occlusive mirroring, which I'll get to. I know there's interested parties in the audience. And finally, I will just mention that Dan has managed to wrangle up funding for a mission called Orpheus that has recently been in the news. If many of you have heard me talk over the past 5, 6, 7 years about a mission called Circe, that if you didn't see in the news recently, it did not make it to orbit when launched, but we've been able to revive that mission. That is a partnership between the Naval Research Lab and the UK's DSTL, Defense Science and Technology Laboratories, and that will be a dual satellite mission to study the ionosphere and space weather effects. And another mission I just called out there is STPS-SAT-7. We do work with the Space Test Program often on very modest budget instrumentation to study the ionosphere. So the reason you're listening to me yammer on up here, funding opportunities. So I will start with the one that I'm sure most are interested in, or at least some very interested parties are interested in, the FY25 MIRI, which typically would have been awarded about 6 months ago, was put on hold as a lot of funding decisions have been. I have been told awards will go out. The award will go out for FY25 MIRI. I was told that it would be announced sometime either this week or next week. I was hoping I would have an actual announcement to make for who the selected winner is for that, and I don't have that yet, but it is coming. So that is at least good news. I know that is a pretty substantial award, so I'm excited that we're going to be able to actually share that with the community here very soon, and then it has not been deferred or canceled, so that's a good thing. More generally, we do just have a long-range BAA. We are technically a rolling deadline agency. We don't have a hard deadline, but we do tend to plan out our fiscal year over the summer. So we will be looking for white papers from anyone in the community who's interested by the end of July. That's usually about a 2-page white paper with some modest budget information. You can find some information on our website there, or otherwise you can come talk to me. I'll be here during the agency hour, and also be here throughout the rest of the week, so please feel free to come talk to me. We do have some other opportunities. We have recently awarded at least one DURIP. That's a Defense University Research and Instrumentation Program. Those are focused on hardware upgrades. So we awarded one in the past couple years for SuperDARN upgrades to Dartmouth College. And we have received some others in the recent years. So that is one avenue to apply for funding that doesn't come out of our modest baseline, which is nice. Same with SBIR and STTR. Those are obviously focused more towards small businesses, but the STTR specifically does target companies who work on a half-and-half level with university folks. Some other opportunities, this is more focused toward the early career folks and students. So we do have a young investigator program. The announcement actually just went out last week. But that's a pretty good opportunity. That can be up to $750K over 3 years for people who have received their PhD since 2018. It is U.S. citizenship required, so I know that does limit the audience here a little bit, unfortunately. But it is a nice opportunity for those who would be eligible and interested. Please come talk to me if you have some ideas or interest there. We do have some very good student opportunities. The NREP program and CEAP program. CEAP is geared towards high school students. We do have several high school students that are at the Naval Research Lab this summer doing a whole variety of research programs. And then NREP is for undergraduate and graduate. I know this summer we have about a half dozen at least students, graduate students that are from across the Gem and Cedar communities that are at NRL as well this summer doing some exciting research from modeling to hardware focused things. So I know that is very good opportunity for those who want to get a sense for what working in a federal lab is like, and do so with a little bit of a stipend for a summer. And those applications are due in the fall for the following summer. In addition, there's a Pathways internship program that is a little more extended internship opportunity where you can actually work full-time at one of the research labs while you are still a student. There is currently a hiring freeze, so I'm not sure how that program works, but if you are interested in the idea, let me know and I can look into it for you. And finally, there's the postdoc program for NRL that is run through the National Research Council. So I will leave it there. Ultimately, we got some more information on our website, both in terms of our research interests and details about the planning letter and where to submit your white papers and full proposals. But most of all, I encourage you to come talk to me if you would like to learn more or get more involved. That's why I'm here. So please don't be afraid to come talk to me. Our emails are up there. That QR code should be for our website. You can also find our contact details there, as well as some more information. So thank you for listening. I'm, again, very excited to be here and honored that I actually get to be here in person. So I look forward to talking to the rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. I think we're going to move to Julie Moses, who's going to give us an agency update from the Air Force Office of Scientific Research, and then we'll try to touch back with Irfan.
Okay, now you can hear me and see me?
Yes.
I will go ahead and share screen. Oops, come on.
Julie is hard at work.
Okay, is that working now?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you go full screen?
Let's do it. I have so many screens here. You have no idea. Okay, here we go. There we go. Is that better? Okay. I'm Julie Moses. I'm the program officer from the Air Force Office of Scientific Research, and my portfolio covers space science. So everything from the solar wind to a magnetosphere, ionosphere, thermosphere, mesosphere. You get the idea. I'm not really going to spend too much time going over some of these slides. I have uploaded, it's quite a large presentation. I've uploaded it to the Google Docs site. And I encourage you, if you guys have any interest at all in funding from AFOSR, to download it. There's information on all our programs in there, because it's not just my portfolio, which is just individual grants to people. We also have some other programs. I'm going to just quick flip through here. We have programs where you can go and visit AFRL and go there for paid internships, postdocs, and also as a visiting scientist. So there's more information on the links on these slides. We also partner with NSF on an REU program, the Assure program. The Summer Faculty Fellowship, this is one where if you can go and visit AFRL for the summer. We also have, this is the postdoc program. It was the NRC postdoc program, but now we call it STFP. Let's see this going. Some of you may have heard of the depth score program. This program was canceled and it was revived about 8 years ago, and it's for states that don't receive the largest share of federal funding. So those are the states indicated here on yellow. You need to look at the BAA for that one because they will paying certain topics that they want brought forward for the depth score. But I have funded somebody through depth score before. The DURP program, this is for instrumentation. It's only open to universities. I want to make that clear. It's a 1-year grant. The budget range can go quite high to, it says here up to 3 million, but typically I think it says 1 million in the BAA. But this is a good program. I've bought quite a few ionosons and GNSS stations for people. Okay, MIRI, this is a special program where we advertise special topics every year, and there isn't always a space physics topic. There is this year, and it is dealing with LIDAR and meteor trails, but also trails and metals that are left behind by burning up spacecraft in the atmosphere. If anybody wants to check that out, we've already gone through the white paper phase and invited the people we want to apply. So it's kind of like not really open, but the NDSEG program, this is a scholarship program for graduate students. It's entirely similar to the one that they have over at NSF. The National Science Portal, this has been set up for HBCU MIs. So check that out if your university is a minority serving institution or HBCU. We have the PCASE awards. Now there are few people in space physics who have gotten PCASE awards, but this is a really big deal. The PCASE, I used to run this program, and one of my colleagues, I would see his nominations, and the recommendation letters for the nominations always included a bunch of Nobel Prize winners. So it's kind of an intimidating program. But if there's anybody around that people think is worthy of nomination, please let me know. Okay, STTR, we do have SBIR and STTR programs. They're usually called AFWorks or SpaceWorks. You can look those up also. The general DoD programs are at a link at the bottom of the page here. We have a Young Investigator program. This year, the BAA has been delayed, and so I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be coming out. They're thinking it's going to be coming out, but the BAA had to be cleared for release. Okay, so now, this is a very important page here with all the links to connect with AFOSR. There's a QR code here for student faculty opportunities and one for grants.gov. Grants.gov is where you'll find our general BAA. It's titled Research Interests of the AFOSR. And I encourage you to look at that and look at my little page-long section on space physics. There's also other BAAs, the DURP BAA. If you go to grants.gov and search for AFOSR, you will find all kinds of BAAs, including DURP, YIP, etc. And so, there's an addendum to this presentation, which is one of the reasons you might want to download it, as tips and tricks for how to do business with AFOSR. And it goes on, it talks about how to find the BAA. Let's see, we also have talking about doing white papers and the white paper process and how you submit a proposal. So I encourage you guys to take a look at that. Are there any questions?
Thank you so much, Julie. Next up, Allison is going to take a stab at presenting Irfan's slides. He's unable to reconnect, but we would like to share NOAA's update with you, no matter how. Okay, Julie, questions will be after the NOAA slides are presented at the end of the session, so if you could just hang on, that would be appreciated. Okay, Allison.
All right, so let's do this. I'm going to click through Irfan's slides. We're unable to get him back on the line, but he said it was okay to present his slides. So we'll see what he's got for us here. All right, so I believe this is an org chart. This is kind of how the space weather at NOAA is laid out. NESDIS there is on the left, which is kind of our relevant branch of NOAA. And then there's been some reorganization at NOAA in recent years, but you've kind of got these various offices under NESDIS, and specifically the Office of Space Weather Observations is important for us. Okay, great. Yep, okay, and then, right, so then we've got another branch that comes down from the Weather Service, the future of which is uncertain, but under that we've got finally getting down to SWPC, which we're all very familiar with, so another key part of our program. All right, so in the portfolio, I know that SWIFO is active, that program is still active, so we've got the Space Weather Follow-On, which has the SWIFO L1 mission, as well as the GOES-U coronagraph, very exciting. And then, I don't know as much about this, but there's the Space Weather Next, which plans to expand their capabilities into L1, L5, where we can get that advance warning of kind of what's coming off of the sun because it's further back along the Parker spiral. And then, GEO, high Earth orbit, and then low Earth orbit. All right, so GOES-U launched in June 2024, is now named GOES-19, and I guess all the instruments are working well and providing science data, and there's some links there where you can find that data. All right, so yeah, SWIFO L1, I believe they're on target for this. This is showing the spacecraft and all of the instrumentation that's available on that spacecraft. It's a rideshare with IMAP, which is September launch, I believe. Yeah, okay. Yep, so hopefully that goes forward, and the SWIFO L1 will then be in orbit. And there's a number of instrumentation packages down there that you can see in the figure on the bottom right, and then they've got them listed with their institutional partners in the text there on the left. Very exciting, very excited about that. All right, so what's next at L1? So this is that Space Weather Next program. So looks like we're going to have some requirements coming out to provide continuity with the SWIFO L1, and this includes an ESA-contributed X-ray flux monitor, apparently. It also includes an X-ray irradiance sensor, and both of those will have an instrument of opportunity, it looks like, and the target launch dates are 2029 and 2032, so that might be something to keep your eye on if you're interested in going for that instrument of opportunity. Okay. All right, so yeah, so GEO is in pre-formulation. Looks like they're interested in getting an RFP out. Oh, it was already released. Okay, so that was released just last week. So go look at that RFP. They're interested in looking at, of course, in situ energetic particles and magnetic fields and solar X-ray irradiance and EUV imagery. So from GEO, and that's still in pre-formulation. All right, and then the Cosmic 2 space weather data products. There's some links there. There's TEC data and EDP data and scintillator data, so you can go look at those data sets. This is still in operation. I don't think they're planning on canceling this, so hopefully those data sets will continue. I got nothing. I don't know anything about this. Commercial data programs, so there's a report online, presumably. There's some, I don't quite understand, sorry. Okay, there's an RFI coming out, so that's interesting if that looks like an opportunity for you. And then there is an SBIR program, so this is similar to what Bruce was talking about, the small business program, but on the NOAA side. And there's an opportunity there, I guess, in the small business realm, but it can include sort of research-based interests as well if you can shoehorn your way into that. All right, Office of Education opportunities. So there's an undergraduate scholarship that looks like they're accepting applications starting in September. There's the La Penta Student Internship Program, and there might be other internship opportunities at that final link. And that is all. Okay.
Oh my God, Allison, what an amazing job. Give Allison a huge round of applause for stepping in for Irfan. And all of our agencies, we are very appreciative for their updates from NSF, Shika, Vanya, and Julie Moses at AFSOR, and Bruce Fritz. Now we've allocated, I think we've got about 20 minutes, 25 minutes for Q&A. So this is the time that you can ask questions of the agency leads.
We got Gareth running around the room. I think it's just him, so give him a second to get back and forth.
Thank you. My name is Franco Diaz. It's more not a question, but a comment. As an early career scientist just finishing my PhD, I feel the need to speak up and express myself because I am scared about the future of science and the careers that all early career scientists. I feel I have to say something because democracies fail when people stay quiet, when we all comply in advance to undemocratic policies of authoritarian regimes. I feel like nothing is okay this moment in time. I am scared that there's a real chance that this will be our last meeting like this. I attended my first CEDAR meeting fresh out of high school, and I have attended many times since. The future of this meeting feels like one uncertainty among many, and this situation of constant uncertainty is exhausting. We all have colleagues who have lost their jobs already, and many more are facing the threat of losing their jobs. If the proposed budget passes, we lose 75% of science funding. Certainly, our community will be decimated. I feel that we need to come together to defend our jobs, our hard work, and the hard work of our colleagues that have lost their jobs or will lose them in the future. I don't know the answers, but I know that I have to act. Politicians are scared of losing their jobs, and we need to show that when you mess with science, you lose elections. We need to go to the media and overwhelm it with complaints. Use the current administration strategy against them. We need the media to be talking about the effects of cutting science funding. No more tornado and hurricane forecasting. Satellite communications will be deteriorated. Satellites will be burned in the atmosphere. GPS signals will lose accuracy. A large CME can take down our power grid. Basically explain how the general public will be affected by these cuts in ways they can easily understand. Our strength is in numbers, all standing together. Recently, we had the No Kings protest, one of the biggest protests in American history, and the media had no other option to report it. This is the strategy to follow. And of course, we need to take care of and help each other. I know we can do it. Hope is not gone. I am ready to fight for science, my job, and my passion, to give back to humanity and let us all have better lives with the ideas and technologies we develop. We are scientists here. Doesn't matter if you are still in your bachelor degree with a lot to learn, or if you have already retired with years of experience. We solve the world's hardest problems with resilience and hard work. I know we can save science fighting back. I will be starting a task force to take our science to the media, and if you're interested in joining and helping in any way, please contact me. This is one idea, but I'm also open to suggestions. I also thank the CEDAR community, the GEM community, AGU for putting up the fight, and also the funding agencies for doing what they are trying to do at this moment. We need to keep on working. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's exactly the strategy that most of us in this room are going for. Thank you for saying it so eloquently. Just as a note, the GEM and CEDAR steering committees are committed to continuing the meeting, which I know is just a tiny concern among many other concerns, but we are committed to going forward and continuing this meeting, so do not be uncertain about that. And Ian has a question and might actually respond to some of what you were saying, but thank you so much. Ian.
No, I feel like, how am I going to follow up on that? Jeez. Hi, Ian Cohen. Actually, I had a question for Vanya and the NSF folks. So one of the 4 topics, Vanya, that you mentioned had kind of a renewed focus or a renewed interest for NSF was national security. How is the agency going to vector projects towards national security topics? Is it anything that has a broad relevance to national security? Are there specific areas? Is the agency making that determination? Are other government agencies making that determination?
Yeah, these are all very good questions. I think that actually much of our work is very relevant to national security, like the work we do for space weather applications and so forth. So it won't be very difficult for our community to align ourselves into those areas. We don't know exactly, how this will unfold, whether, the calls will be somehow change the solicitations, or whether, we need to address for sure when you write your proposals, you can, highlight, this is more application sites, but that's a little bit of change. So NSF used to be basic science. My personal understanding is that now we are looking at more developing applications. How is our basic science related, to the applications, and how we can produce these innovations that are important for our country. So we start to be thinking about that, in my opinion.
Hi, I have a couple of questions from the Slido online. 2 of them are for Julie, and I'll say them both and you can answer them together. What topics specifically is AFOSR focused on? And in a follow-up to that, does AFOSR prefer modeling or simulation or data analysis?
Well, all of the above. AFOSR funds basic science, and so any fundamental scientific exploration, if you're looking at the evolution of CMEs and predicting IMFBZ, or now they want us to move out and fund things that are more in cislunar space. So that includes a lot of space, right? A lot of the magnetosphere that we didn't really cover before. But also the ionosphere-thermosphere and mesosphere in my program. So it's all in there. So.
Okay, thank you. And there's one other question for Bruce. Could you repeat the session name and time that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, thank you. It's not an official session for CEDAR. I didn't get myself into the actual schedule because of uncertainty over whether I was going to be here. It is Friday afternoon in the breakout room. It's room 311. It's going to be focused on people who are here. So unfortunately, we're not going to have a great virtual presence. So I'm sorry to the folks who are online for CEDAR and GEM this year. But for those who are here, room 311, 1 to 5 on Friday.
So Hyunju had a question over here, I think, first. Okay. All right, go ahead over here.
Okay, good morning. I'm Erdal Yiğit from George Mason University, a faculty member there. I would like to ask all panelists, program officers, basically, are there any concerns about brain drain within the funding agencies? And probably yes, but in what ways, at what levels, and how much attention is being given to this topic of brain drain? And given the fact that in other countries right now, especially in Europe, there are policies being worked on brain gain. And I think the context is pretty clear in what direction and gain and drain is meant in this context.
If I was going to give any advice, if you're an early career person and kind of mobile, and I don't think it would be the worst idea to take a postdoc overseas. I mean, I took a postdoc overseas. I worked in the UK for a couple of years, and it was a growth opportunity. I was a cluster 1 scientist, so it wasn't that great when cluster blew up, but you know, I would take those opportunities right now, to be honest with you. Oh, and well, I could say we are concerned, but you know, in the meantime, you guys, while we're kind of struggling with funding and stuff like that, you guys should take advantage of the opportunities that you have available. I wouldn't begrudge you at all.
Yes, I agree with that. I came from Europe, so it's not that, you know, difficult to change. It's great to see other places and how science is done, you know, in other countries. But of course, we are very concerned, and we would like to keep, you know, the United States as the best place to do science. And I hope it will be like that. Things are, as I said, very dynamic. They are changing, and hopefully, you know, solution will be found. I haven't heard about any policy being worked out right now at NSF, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I'll just echo that same sentiment. Of course, we're all concerned about people leaving not just the country, but the field, right? It's an uncertain time, but at the end of the day, we've got to do what's best for you. We don't want to lose folks out of the community, but understand that there are opportunities abroad and also in other industries, you know, especially for students and early career folks that are concerned. You are capable of so much more than you realize. So know that there are things you can do. I hate to see any one of you go. Of course, we want to keep this community together, but know there are things out there for you.
I have 2 questions. One goes to Julie, and another goes to NSF folks. So Julie, that the many early career scientists has been applying NSF and NASA, and now those budgets, reduced quite a lot. So I've been advising my early career scientists to look for more opportunities under the DoD, and one of them is AFOSR. And you probably receive a bunch of emails from early career scientists and asking about more information about FOSR, but I haven't heard any response from you yet. So how could they approach you more better? And I know that this lunchtime, there's people who signed up to meeting with you, but there's a waiting list. I think there's a 15th and 16th and 20th. So I hope that I know everyone is busy and everyone is currently under crisis, but I hope, Julie, would you respond to early careers? Thank you.
Yeah. One of the things I would say is be persistent. Like if you send me a white paper and I don't answer right away, send it to me again, because stuff tends to get buried. That's what I would say, is be persistent.
Thank you. And another question to NSF folks. I know that when we submit the proposal, there's a science merit and broader impact sections, right? And now that the DEI activities are now kind of prohibited, and do you have any, change on the proposal writing when we write a broader section? Should we be more careful? And I wanted to hear how our review process will be changed under this new administration.
What I would say based on what I've seen, in like your title and your abstract of your proposal, avoid any kind of social science language. This is going to sound kind of alarming, but my chief scientist had a proposal that was canceled, and the title was something like the behavior of electrons in some novel semiconductor. And it was the word, they were like, I don't know if they're using some kind of code to just go through people's titles, but it was the word behavior that caused that grant to be canceled. So don't, I can't give you a specific list of words because we don't have any, but I would just be careful with the wording that you choose.
Yes, and from NSF point of view, as I mentioned in my presentation, it is very important when you organize any DEI activities to open to participation for all Americans. So as long as you keep that kind of language and you make sure that you are not restricted, whatever activities you organize, you don't target, specific population, it is okay. So that is how it is reviewed. All activities should be open to all participants.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would add one more thing, that it's better not to use these words like diversity, inclusion in your proposal, and try to link the research that you are doing in broader impacts, like how it is having positive and societal benefits, how it is going to improve the economy of the country, and if it has some consequences to national security also, which I think is a case which can be easily made. And regarding the review criteria remains the same. NSF is reviewing all the proposals based on intellectual merits and broader impacts as before. And so the only thing that has changed is we have to be very careful in mentioning like what kind of activities we are going to do in broader impacts. And please refer to the President's executive orders for more details, like what are the things that are objectionable or can be considered as objectionable. Thank you.
And if you want to do something in education or for students, workforce training, workforce development, those are positive words to use. Yeah. Okay, one more, yeah.
Hi, thanks for the agency informations. And I'm Shannon Chu from LASP, and I work on machine learning and AI. And from that side, I have been optimistic all the time regarding funding. Hopefully that's going to be better in the next coming months. My question to the agencies, Julia and Vanya, is what do the agencies see the investment into AI and machine learning, especially for AI for science? And more specifically on the NSF side will be like for the CAIG program, like they ask for a interdiscipline, especially those AI experts from computer science. Well, that's a good sign to that's a good thing to collaborate with, AI experts. That puts those like me, so who's a kind of AI expert that's native from our field, excluded from that program somehow. So that's my question for all the agencies. Thank you so much.
So why are you concerned about collaborating with other, scientists? In my opinion, you can always learn and increase, your perspective and add more. I think the goal is for this, for this program is to be multidisciplinary, and because when you see from different perspectives, the problem, you have new ideas. So that is why it's encouraged, to collaborate. Even if you have expertise, still it is better, to have a bigger team and to have a broader collaboration.
So just to clarify, the new NSF theme of artificial intelligence, is that meant to be research that is developing artificial intelligence as a project in and of itself, or is it meant to be science research that is using AI techniques to come up with magnetospheric or ionospheric physics results?
Well, CAGE, if you look at the CAGE solicitation, which is collaboration in artificial intelligence and geosciences, that is one example of how we are promoting this kind of collaborative work and the use of machine learning, artificial intelligence tools in advancing our scientific research. In addition to that, we also revised the solicitation, CEDAR solicitation last year, and it includes artificial intelligence to broaden our scientific scope and include these new research trends and incorporate these techniques in our research activities. So I don't know if SAIS Directorate within NSF is currently working on additional solicitations which are purely based in advancing artificial intelligence field, but my understanding is that there are a lot of collaborations that occur within NSF, different directorates and divisions, and we would like to leverage these things and promote our areas as much as we can. So that's why it's very important that you guys send us your science highlights so that we can also advocate within our division at higher levels that how our community is incorporating these new research techniques and tools in their research activities.
And also I should add that feel free to contact Tain Huang, who is one of the program officers for these programs. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us today, but she will probably give a more detailed answer.
Right, thank you. Are there any other questions in the room? We can do one more. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I have one more from online, if that's okay.
Yes.
This is for Vanya and Chika at NSF. In the proposed budget, the geo-education is cut the most. Does it affect how NSF values the education component, such as student advising and outreach in proposals?
Well, I mean, we have RISE division within directorate, and that's probably what is getting affected, and broader impacts within scientific proposals are not going to be impacted as much. But education, on the, like, if you look at the education Department of Education, that has suffered a lot of losses, and this has somehow affected even NSF and various programs, and RU programs too have been influenced, unfortunately. But I hope things will change in future for better. I would encourage that include student support in broader impacts as you were doing before. The only thing to keep in mind is to be careful and avoid using, like, we will hire only underrepresented students or minority students. Just make it like the hiring process will be open to all students without any preferential treatment, then it should be fine.
We're actually going to do one more question. Who's the mic? Yeah, back there. Turn, yep.
Thank you. My question is more for the NSF folks. Historically speaking, there was a lot of weight in the proposals given to broader impacts. So moving forward, what's the NSF recommendation for us to write proposals, and how do we permeate those broader impacts into the proposal? Because that's something that really is important to the community, and we would like to continue to support, but it seems kind of hard these days to actually do it.
Well, I would not really agree that NSF gave more weight to broader impacts. Intellectual merits and broader impacts were reviewed in equal fashion, and we continue to do that. So intellectual merits are equally important as are broader impacts. And in current scenario, the only thing that we have to be careful, as I mentioned earlier, is avoid using DAI words, and other things should be okay as far as you are not giving any preferential treatment. And if you focus on how your research is going to have societal benefits, how it is going to help the economic development of the society in the US, how it is going to build, how it can build capacity, how it is going to advance the infrastructure, all those things are still going to be same. So yeah, I think if we are careful, we can actually deal with these changes without many issues.
All right, thank you. We're going to end the session here, but I wanted to give a huge personal thank you to all of the agency representatives and program officers, because we know you're getting hundreds of emails. You're working as hard as you can to support us. We in this room support you, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, big sigh. Let's shake it off, go have a break and mingle a bit, and then let's do some science. Thank you.